5 international oil companies operate in Nigeria. They are Shell Petroleum Development Company, Total Energies, Chevron, ExxonMobil, and ENI. They are also responsible for 45% of Nigeria's oil and gas production. Presently, the SPDC is divesting its assets, while ExxonMobil has also put its onshore shallow water assets for sale. Divestments by the IOCs began in 2010 with the offloading of onshore assets because of insecurity, oil theft, sabotage, and community-related issues.
Community exclusion
At a community dialogue on motives behind IOC's divestment in the Niger Delta, environmentalists are asking pertinent questions about the responsibility to address the toxic legacies and implications for communities in the Niger Delta.
Need to hold the oil and gas companies in Nigeria liable for nearly 6 decades of ECOCIDE in the Niger Delta as precursor to remedial actions and compensation. The court cases of Niger Delta communities in The Hague and UK courts are models of litigation successes. Federal government should compel divesting IOCs to honor Memorandum of Understanding and Global Memorandum of Understanding and other agreements entered into with communities by the divesting oil companies.
Participants at the community dialogue think that the interpretation of divestment in Nigeria is at variance with global best practices.
They are now moving to the offshore in order to run away from responsibility, especially for over-polluting and running away from compensation in the area of oil exploitation and exploration and production. It's a neo-colonialism tactics and strategy to cow the people of the Niger Delta and the oil-producing area in Nigerian states.
They are interested in the offshore because that provides very less commitment in terms of their corporate, policies in terms of management of community people and community problems, because there are liabilities already established and created by these international oil companies.
The ability of the domestic oil companies to handle liabilities of the international oil companies is also a subject of concern.
Divestment as a business policy might sound good, but in a setting whereby regulation is low, divestment will be a problem to communities. Given that the DOCs, the domestic oil companies, do not have capacity, given that the domestic oil company do not have historical overview of how these companies have operated and how dilapidated their structures have been before they are divesting.
The ITO oil spill, which have exposed the DOCs as not having capacity, requisite capacity to handle the situation, handle legacy problems that have already been created and that will be created by this divestment process. And not being carried along in the process, it means that the community people will only be left with the problems that are on ground.
Plausible and possible.
The Environmental Rights Action, Friends of the Earth, Nigeria, wants the federal government to play a more active role by proper legislation to include all stakeholders in the divestment processes. Ofieteme George, Arise News.